again with another excerpt from my book, Ruining a Nation and Nobody Cares. You can purchase it on Amazon.com. Actually, I'm combining two excerpts. The first is titled Cafeteria Lunch Periods. I will describe what it's like to be in the school's cafeteria. The second is an incident that happened in the cafeteria where a Patterson police officer had to finally get involved to help a female student, then was banned from working here because he did his job according to the oath he swore to, which was to protect and serve. All right. Now I'm going to read the very first excerpt. As I said, is Cafeteria Lunch Periods. This is when the school is really at its worst. You will see anything and everything you can imagine and more in the hallways, especially during lunch periods. The sad thing about it, it is the cafeterias is on the first floor, right where the head of security, the security office, and the building principal, along with several other administrators, are all located. The noise in and emanating from the cafeteria is absolutely deafening, and the language is absolutely disgusting. This goes on in every lunch period, every day, and nothing is done about it. No one makes any effort to have any type of order, human standard, or decency. It is an absolute disgusting free-for-all. If anyone would act this way in any public establishment or any place outside of JFK, they would either be thrown out or arrested. This is not the way decent people act in society. This is not acceptable behavior in any place. Once again, the teaching of right from wrong is dead. There have been several times when I've had to go into the cafeteria and the two administrators standing outside the door, holding it shut, have said to me, "You're going in there? You're braver than us." The cafeteria itself, after a lunch period, is an absolute mess. It is so disgusting. It looks as if a bomb exploded. Everything imaginable is all over the place. Students don't have to pick up after themselves. I have seen vice principals on several occasions clean up to get the cafeteria somewhat clean before the next lunch period. On many occasions, I have seen security holding students back from entering the cafeterias because it was a disastrous mess. Sometimes it is so bad in the cafeteria because there was not just one food fight, but several, which escalated into brawls and gang fights. Then, the same fight carries on into the next, and all of the other lunch periods, then into the hallways, eventually into the entire school itself, and sometimes on into the very next day. Why? Because even after the police and security escort these students out of the cafeteria to the security office, these very same students are let go, and the fighting starts all over again. Reason: they do not want to write anyone up. They do not want to discipline students, suspend them, or anything, because then there will be a paper trail. This will hurt the perception of how things have changed. This is all a lie. Even though the administration is not filling out and submitting the proper forms for all these actions, it is still a form of falsifying records and documents. All right, now I'm going to read you the second excerpt because it goes into the cafeteria. Patterson police officer being banned. I'm not sure of the date, so on my book I got 18th to the 29th because I got this from the police officer and I got his permission to put this down. Actually, I typed everything up and he goes, "This is correct." A police officer in the cafeteria was observing a student who kept manhandling, pushing around a female student. Several times he told the male student to stop and knock it off. As usual, the police officer was ignored. As the police officer anticipated, the male student suddenly struck the young lady so hard she fell off the bench and struck her head on the floor. The impact was loud enough to be heard over the rest of the noise in the lunchroom. The police officer jumped up and went to get the male student, and the student took a stance to fight him. The officer grabbed the male student, then he and another officer handcuffed him. They were going to take the male student to the security office in an awaiting second car. All of a sudden, one of the building principals showed up and asked the girl what happened. He kept asking her what happened. "You are right. You were just playing, right? It is obvious the principal was coaching her. The young lady, hurt and obviously confused, went along with the principal as he kept trying to make this entire situation as if they were both playing. Only to find out later, this young lady's parents told the school administration that the male student is to stay away from their daughter. The two students are not allowed to be together because she had been assaulted by him numerous times already, and the building principal knew this. As expected, in trying to keep everything hushed up and not having a paper trail, the principal did not want the police officers to arrest the student. One of the police officers said, "It's too late. It's out of your hands." Now here comes the best part. By the time the police officer finished writing his report, the student was back in the building. The following day, when the police officer came in for work, he was told he was banned, no longer allowed to work at JFK anymore. Bottom line, the police officer was punished for doing his job, and the student who assaulted this young lady, nothing was done about it. As you can see, it's not about truth or student safety. The administration's only concern is perception. That is why everything is hushed up. These were just two stories, entries of thousands that are in my book. Hundreds of them are incidents, fights, food fights, muggings, and robbing of students, gambling, fires deliberately set in the building, and that all went on inside the school and in the cafeterias. All of my entries and the stories are the truth. As you can just see from what I read, there is no embellishment. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with more from my book, Ruining a Nation. If you want to read more excerpts from my book, go to my Facebook page. Also take notice, because many of the comments are from my past students. And remember, all profit from this book will be donated 50-50 between St. Jude's Children's Hospital and Students' Education in Paterson, New Jersey. Thank you so much.